I want to respond to some comments in the comment section. I don't want to do it necessarily by name today. It's a tenor of um, it's the idea, and people are saying that I'm being unduly lenient towards Tommy Robinson. The point is that because people are shouting in the streets, Tommy Robinson, it doesn't necessarily mean he is directly responsible. And this is really the biggest problem. The Hope Not Hate people have said there is no doubt that Tommy Robinson's social media is playing a really important role in these far right demos. His reach has grown since his Twitter account was reinstated last year. His last two demos in London have attracted tens of thousands of people. Yes, absolutely. And Tommy Robinson was regularly tweeting, calling Islam a mental health issue, sharing videos of disorder, encouraging people to join future demonstrations. One said, "Get there and show your support. People need to rise up." We know he was influential in Tuesday's disturbance in Southport. Well, I'm not sure that's entirely true. We know that his followers were doing things in his name. It doesn't necessarily prove that he was instrumental in organising that. And that is the problem. Unlike Farage, who was much more directly involved, and Andrew Tate, who was much more directly involved. And the fact that people are doing things in the name of their heroes, these right-wing thugs, doesn't necessarily mean those heroes are directly involved. Now, I have no great affection for Tommy Robinson, for Farage, or for Andrew Tate. And I'll do an Andrew Tate video later on, because I was watching a very interesting program about Tate and about the rise of social media and the impact of this on our society. But we have to be really careful about how we direct the law, because we need to make sure that the law is upheld and we're not using the law to take revenge, or indeed to showcase or to martyr individuals. I think the time has come to leave Tommy Robinson to obscurity rather than to put him in a cell in Belmarsh and treat him like another Julian Assange. And at the same time, there's a debate about what is the centre ground of politics. And indeed, I'll come back to that later on, I think, as well. But the chants which have been heard and the chants which have been circulated, and particularly the Southport far-right allegations that this was a Muslim-inspired atrocity, whereas in fact Axel Ruda Kubana is not Muslim at all. He's a Christian with a background in music theatre. It's again, these events, these trigger events, are simply bringing out the xenophobes and the Islamophobes who simply want an excuse to vent their irrational fear and their rational hatred. And this capitulation to the cult of some non-existent British values, rather like the non-existent conservative values that are bandied around by twits from the far right, whether they are called Priti Patel, Kemi Badenoch, Nigel Farage, Tommy Robinson or Tate. It doesn't make any difference. These values don't exist. These values have been appropriated. Nobody can tell me what these values are. And to show me the history of these values. These values are things which have been grabbed out of the air and manufactured in the last few years. The values of British society are hospitality and order. The values of conservatism are actually to maintain those two principles. And it's only two. I don't see the anti-migration issue as anything like a recognition of the principles of hospitality and order. And the police is an application of that understanding of hospitality and order. And the other principle about conservatism, which is not wheeled out, is the idea of preserving what is good in the past. Modern conservatism seems to be about change. And that is not the conservatism of, what Mrs. Thatcher branded the wets, but they were an important factor in her rise. And Thatcher herself was very much a product of that environment. She was significantly less reactionary than the people who try to model themselves on her, the people who believe that they should be inflexible. She was far from inflexible. And the attitude to asylum, put out by racist, Islamophobic, fascist riots who attack mosques, who attack asylum seekers, who attack anyone who's not white. This is the stuff of fascism. This is the stuff of hostility and disunity. This is not the stuff of conservatism, and this is not the stuff of British character. And this is the stuff of mob rule. And I think we need to be very clear about it.